What's going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and this is the world's thinnest foldable phone. It comes in at just 4.1 millimeters in this white color right here and 8.8 millimeters when folded, and it is the Honor Magic V5. If you guys remember, about a month and a bit ago, I actually unboxed this phone, and after having an opportunity to spend some more time with it, I'm bringing you my full review, both in terms of the perspective of what it's like as the thinnest phone, how it compares with the now released Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, which comes in at just 0.1 millimeters thicker, and if there's any compromises as a result of having the title of the thinnest foldable phone. Traditionally, Honor has really led the space when it comes to making a minimal compromise experience when it comes to their folding lineup of devices. And I think that's what makes things truly so impressive when it comes to engineering, but also covering all aspects of what makes an incredible phone. Of course, AI is also a big topic, and this device actually has AI features that allow you to enhance your productivity and allow you to take advantage of the full experience with using a large display and being able to enjoy the large screen real estate, especially when it comes to productivity. So when it comes to the design and hardware, as I mentioned, this phone comes in at just 4.1 millimeters in thickness when unfolded, and when folded up, it is at 8.8 millimeters. It features the Honor Super Steel hinge, which feels very durable and solid, just like it did in the previous generation, and it also weighs in at just 217 grams, which is pretty much the same as some of the heavier standard smartphones on the market. It has a large 5820 milliamp hour battery, a 7.95-inch interior display that has a 120 Hz refresh rate. On the outer side, you have a 6.43-inch OLED display that features a 120 Hz refresh rate. The display is as good as it gets on a device, and when it comes to the peak brightness of enjoying HDR content, or if you're outside in a bright day and want to be able to see your screen, you've got yourself covered with a peak brightness of up to 5,000 nits. And on the back, you have a triple camera setup that is in this large ring right here, and I find that it is very well integrated. The white color right here is really sharp, and it's also available in two other colors, but if you take a look at the edge, it has a rounded off corner in the accent champagne color here, and the USB Type-C port on the bottom is pretty much the entire thickness of one side of the device. When it comes to performance, this device is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor with up to 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigs of storage. That is pretty much what you'd expect, and it's pretty standard throughout flagship phones nowadays. But when it comes to some of the unique experience, software, productivity, and AI features of this device, I feel like Honor's really made an effort through its AI technologies to allow for the maximized productivity of taking advantage of a large screen. And so software is where each company can kind of make a difference. In this case, Honor has 7 years of Android OS and security updates, which is industry leading. It also features Honor Share technology that we saw at IFA and at MWC, which allows you to have cross-platform connectivity file transfers between Android, iOS, Windows, and Mac, and it actually works really well. This device also has the enhanced productivity with the multi-flex feature that allows you to multitask with 3 apps at once on the larger inner screen, which might sound a little bit crazy. I feel like a lot of times 2 apps is enough, but if you want to have 3 different windows for research purposes, maybe productivity, for school, or for work, it is still a very handy option to have. Features such as Google Gemini integration gives you personal AI assistant that helps you with planning, writing, learning, and organizing daily tasks. And I personally use Gemini all the time, especially through search functions on a daily basis. Gemini Live features allows you to interact, screen share, converse with your AI assistant to organize your thoughts, share pictures and files. And on the Honor front specifically, we saw examples of AI Agent at MWC this year, which was really cool, and I hope to see it expand in the future. But specifically, there's AI call translation and translation that is built in thanks to the Honor's on-device large speech model for real-time translations during phone calls or based on whatever you have on screen. When it comes to the triple camera setup, this is another area that Honor has really shown that there aren't any compromises in their foldable device, despite being so thin. It features Honor's AI Falcon camera system, and Honor has been amongst the best when it comes to camera on both their flagship smartphones and in their folding devices as well. Some of the AI features in the camera front include AI Super Zoom that offers 30 to 100x hybrid zoom, utilizing both the sensor and AI technology. And they also have AI Enhanced Portrait, AI Motion Sensing Capture that we saw last year, AI Image to Video, which is probably one of the most unique and impressive features that literally took any image and through AI is able to turn it into a live 5-second video, AI Cutout, and also AI Eraser, and AI Upscale, which is able to take any image, whether you took it on the Honor smartphone or not, and upscale it to a higher resolution. I feel like a lot of people are wondering though, how does this compare to the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7? Samsung has had a folding phone that didn't really focus on thinness for quite a few years up until this year. And even though they've shedded a lot of weight, the Honor Magic V5 is still just 0.1 millimeters thinner on both the folded and unfolded when measured up, which I know is pretty much the same and tangibly doesn't make a difference, but I think what does make a difference is the specs between each of these devices and whether or not one of them has more compromises than the other. The display on the Honor Magic V5 is 7.95 inches, whereas on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, it is 8 inches. They're both 120 Hz, but the Galaxy only goes up to 2600 nits, whereas the Magic V5 goes up to 5,000 nits. And on the external side, the Samsung Galaxy has a slightly larger front display at 6.5 inches compared to 6.43 inches. It is a taller device. They both feature a Snapdragon 8 Elite processor with up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, but the Galaxy goes up to 1 terabyte options. But when it comes to the battery, the Honor Magic V5 is significantly better with a battery size of 5,820 milliamp hours, 66 watts of wired charging speed, and 50 watts of wireless, whereas the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 comes in at 4,400 milliamp hours in total battery size with 25 watt wired charging, which is kind of one of my biggest complaints in the Samsung Galaxy review, because that I feel like is a pretty big compromise when it comes to battery size, considering these two devices are literally the same size. When it comes to the camera, there's also a bit of a different approach here. Honor has opted for 3 pretty solid cameras, 2 50 megapixel sensors and 1 64 megapixel sensor, giving you a very nice across the board experience. On the other hand, Samsung has a great main camera at 200 megapixels for the main, but the ultra-wide camera is 12 megapixels and the telephoto is 10 megapixels. So even though you have that versatility of the main camera, the other sensors are pretty good, but nothing impressive. And I feel like that is another very clear trade-off, alongside the IP48 water and dust resistant rating, as opposed to the IP58 and 59 that you get on the Honor Magic V5. When it comes to price, though, I know this really depends on the market, but in Europe at least, where both of these devices are sold, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 starts at about 1,799 euros, whereas the Honor Magic V5 comes in about 500 euros less. So I would say when comparing these devices head to head, even though I really like Samsung's design, when you're looking at like two devices that are essentially the exact same caliber, the Honor Magic V5 has the edge when it comes to overall performance, battery, and value. And even with major breakthroughs from their competitors, they've come out with possibly one of the most compelling options right now when it comes to a foldable device. So as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.